Hello, everybody. Come on in, sit down. Let's have a drink and let's discuss something. So, hello, everybody. My name's Mike, not Average Joe, as the title says, but I'm here to ask questions, and I'm hoping that you guys will be my Google, which I in turn want to call it Yugle. So, I do have a serious question I want to ask, and I did prepare notes even though I'm asking a question. I was at the VA, and in a group of probably 4 or 5 of us, somebody brought up the topic of red flag laws and guns, um, and calling a crisis line. So they are worried that if they ever had to call the crisis line, that somebody would turn them in and that the police or somebody would show up at their door trying to collect their guns. So my question is, why are veterans or people in general afraid to call the crisis line over the red flag laws? Supposedly, the crisis line, they're not supposed to turn you into law enforcement or to the courts, but apparently it has happened. Apparently, there's an article in here from Reddit, whether you agree with Reddit or not. It said here on Reddit, some veterans express beliefs or worries like they just need someone to talk to, but they don't, for the fear of being labeled and having their rights stripped. Even though the official facts say otherwise, perceptions of risk matter a lot. So that's my general question. Um, is Are people in fear of losing their guns if they call the crisis line? Um, the facts that I have: the Veteran Crisis Line is advertised as free and confidential and available 24/7 for veterans, even if they're not enrolled in the VA benefits or health care. According to a fact sheet, seeking mental health care or contacting the Veterans Crisis Line does not automatically trigger reporting to the background check systems for firearms or automatically results in loss of gun rights. The red flag laws are civilian mechanisms in many states that allow a court. So, fear of losing your gun rights. It says some gun owners, including veterans, worry that if they admit to suicidal thoughts, mental health struggles, or gun-related risk, the state may use that as justification to confiscate firearms under red flag laws. And then a Reddit example. A law firm's page regarding Florida's RPO explained that veterans or first responders might be vulnerable to such orders even without criminal arrests. If someone petitions and a court determines a significant risk exists, veterans may be uncertain or anxious about whether hotline calls, mental health records, or disclosures about firearms will end up in a record that triggers a review or risk of a firearm restriction. The stigma and identity issues. Many veterans identify strongly with self-reliance, firearm ownership, and being capable of managing their own risk. Seeking help may feel like a threat to that identity. Moreover, safety resources often emphasize safe storage, reducing firearm access during risk periods, which can trigger anxiety among gun owners. Uncertainty about the rules, legal consequences, because the rules may vary by state, which petitioners can ask for red flag orders. how long they last, what triggers them. And because many veterans are unfamiliar with how their state's law works, they may overestimate the risk. Some states permit law enforcement, family members, or others to request a restriction under lower standard than criminal conviction. So what should a veteran consider? Not that calling a crisis line alone does not automatically mean your firearms will be removed or your rights lost. The fact sheet clarifies that seeking care or calling VCL does not cause a veteran's guns to be confiscated. Do you believe that? That's another question. If you are in crisis or have suicidal thoughts, the immediate risk of harm is far more urgent than the possibility of rights lost. The crisis line is meant to save lives. Understand your particular state's red flag law, who can petition, what evidence is required, how long the order lasts, what due process protections exist. Knowledge can reduce fear. Consider safe storage. Temporary storing firearms with trusted friend or using a lockbox during crisis periods. This is recommended by the VA as a means to reduce suicidal risk. If you're worried about seeking help might affect your gun rights, you may want to consult with a trusted attorney or veterans' rights organization familiar with your state's rules to get clarity. So, with all that said, do you trust calling a crisis line and not having a fear of losing your gun rights? So, if you like this episode, please subscribe, like, and do all the fun stuff. I will have another video shortly. Thank you.